Hi guys, so in this episode I'm going to concentrate on what I think is one of the most important things in any car, and that's to have a cool cabin. Have the ventilation system working exactly as it should, you know, clearing your windows, keeping you cool when you want, keeping you warm when you want. Now the gas ran out on my air conditioning system a couple of weeks ago, and because we're having such a wonderful summer in the UK, rather than gas it up with the old gas, which is now illegal and you've got to change things around, and look, I just decided, even though the 50-year-old system is very adequate and it cools the car nice, I've decided to bite the bullet and purchase this new kit from IntroCar. It's quite a comprehensive kit. It's got a compressor, it's got, well, they recommend the dryer to go with it as well. There's various O-rings, there's the all-important valves to fill your system up with the new gas. So, as I say, even though it was perfectly adequate, the old system, I think it's time, and that's just for me, peace of mind, to upgrade it a little bit and, you know, have a more efficient system. So, let's have a look what's inside it, shall we? So here you've got your heavy duty compressor, you've got your fresh oil, you've got your suction throttle valve and all the components in there, everything you need. You've got your receiver dryer, new one of them, which is, they recommend you fit a new one of these with the new compressor. You've got various O-rings, you've got your pigtail loom for the aftermarket products. Expansion valve, and there you've got your high and low pressure switch. So basically there's everything you need here for the new system. It looks like a nice bit of kit. So there's your compressor. There's the dryer. Right, let's get this show on the road, shall we? Wedge your little block in underneath for safety, because these are heavy little suckers, these. And as you know, I love a bit of improvisation. Just to keep the belts in an upward position, just so I don't have to crawl underneath the car and reposition them. Now, as you can see here, I'm using the hubcap tool, and if you look at the bottom, it's got like a little fitment that fits perfectly into where the power steering pump is. You wedge that over, that enables you to tighten the belt up. And it's amazing how many people don't know this. And if you look closely on the top of the dryer, you'll see a small arrow which signifies that the pipe going into this side comes directly from the condenser. Oh, and just for reference, I had to undo the clips on this pipe in order to remove the dryer, but now it's all back in again. These can all be tightened. But it's not just the aircon. There's a whole list of other jobs I want to do on the car. Starting with the wood. You can see where it's all beginning to crack here. I think I could do with a complete refurb, as well as a refresh of the interior. Dr Malcom Frazer Cox is a retired GP living over on the Wirral. As well as being the ex-chairman of the Bentley Owners Club, he was also the person responsible for introducing me to old Tom, who had purchased the Lotus and the Porsche GT in the previous episode. So whilst I'm out dropping the wood in, I'm going to drop in and see him because he's also the proud owner of a Rolls-Royce Corniche convertible. I could get a few reference points, and whilst I'm there, maybe we'll take it for a drive. Believe it or not, I've never actually driven another Corniche.
Yeah, this was a 1985 Rolls-Royce Corniche, cancelled order, hung around crew for 2 years. Somebody in Malaysia ordered it, and then for some reason the deal didn't go through.
This is completely different to mine, this.
It will be.
So this is on the Solex carbs, is it?
Solex carb. This is the same engine that they put in the Camargue.
So, did the later ones run on the Solex carbs? Because the SU carbs, I think, are the best.
SU are best.
Well, why don't you get it changed over? Well, if you've got no problems, there's no need
It's not a problem. The carburettor's been rebuilt by Gary Bretherton. It functions very well. The flat spot's gone.
You know why they changed them to the SU carbs? Because the Solex are so tricky to set up.
They are difficult.
And the SUs are pretty straightforward and very reliable and robust, so that's why people do it, because it's just less maintenance, less bother, less faff.
The aircon's been changed from the old refrigerant to the new refrigerant.
Is there just one valve on these for filling it up?
There are two. There are two.
Yeah.
But I think he only needed to change the one.
Yeah, you can use one, yeah. I've just bought a whole new system off IntroCar.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, because it's 50 odd years old.
I've never changed the dryer. The compressor has been changed.
Well, it's recommended that I change the dryer with mine.
You should change the two together. Yeah.
My dryer's down there, the original one.
Well, they're all a bit different, aren't they?
Yeah. Come on, let's get it out.
Anyway, let's get it out. I'll let you get the car out, Gary.
Okay. Only because you can't get your belly in, that's why.
That's right.
You just had your hood done, Malc. The stuffing's good.
The stuffing's good, it goes flat.
And you can get your rear
get the Turner cover on, yeah. Looks best with the Turner one.
Yeah, you could do with something doing here as well.
Well, I've got the trim.
Get the lead one, the lead trim, whatever.
I've got the trim over there to go on once the car's had a respray.
Yeah.
It's destined to have a respray sometime in the next year.
I think you should have a little piece of your headliner, a similar shape to that. So when your hood goes down, you just lay it on, and it doesn't kind of scratch.
Yeah.
Should we take the hood down?
Let's take it down.
There's the weather for it, definitely, isn't it? Different to mine. windows are nice. Which is
Trick with
always a plus
those-
in these, because they're not used very much. They tend to start sticking.
The trick with the windows is to put some silicone spray in the runs.
In the track, yeah.
Yeah, I did that just recently.
This looks all original, this as well.
That's original.
It's the really thick, heavy leather, isn't it? I love these little fasteners. What are they called?
Tenax.
Tenax, that's
Tenax. Yeah.
Yeah, and you just pull them to it, let them go, and they just clip on. It's good. Heavy doors, these, aren't they?
Well, yeah, they're not meant to be. You know, this one's got a cocktail cabinet in it, do you?
Yeah.
In the door.
We'll get round
Show
to
you that later.
Come on in.
Let's get in. It's got the upgraded aircon. If you feel that.
Yeah.
That's cold.
I thought you had the original aircon in.
Well, it is the original aircon, but this is the upgraded aircon in the Mark IIs.
What were you saying about that flat spot?
It hasn't got a flat spot. Well, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, it sounds like it's slightly misfiring.
I think there is a slight misfire on it.
And there
yeah.
could be, you know, maybe a leak in the exhaust as well.
I think so, yeah.
And you've got the same old problem with the steering wheel.
I know.
Everyone I've seen is just turned to the right slightly.
I know, everyone is just set off slightly.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
But I bet you've had your tracking done, and your tracking's spot on. Is that right?
This one hasn't been tracked fully, no. It needs to go on a four-line alignment, really.
I had mine checked twice, and they said it's absolutely spot on. So we're heading down to Parkgate.
Yep, Parkgate. The famous seaside resort without the sea.
Oh, look at that. Look at that view.
That's Wales.
That's lovely. See the famous Parkgate front.
Nichols' famous ice cream.
Don't be advertising now. So what's the story behind Parkgate, Mark?
Well, Parkgate was originally a bigger port than Liverpool.
Yeah.
Fishermen used to come in, the cocklers. The sea
Whoa.
used to come right up.
So this is like hinterland, is it?
This is a marsh. Marsh was fixed by a South American weed that was introduced. Same one that was introduced in the Hamble.
So Nelson's got history with this place, hasn't he?
I understand that the rumour is that Nelson used to come in and visit his mistress, Lady Hamilton.
I bet you he did.
How true that is, I don't know. I have a patient, or had a patient, who had total recall back to the age of 4, and she was 104, and she could tell me that the marsh used to be open, and she used to actually go on the sand.
So whilst I'm here, it's not all play and relaxation, because I promised Malcolm last time I was here that I'd come and recolonise his seats. So, back into the work gear, and away we go. If you take a look at them, they're kind of like... They're not too bad, they look nice, they've got a nice patina, but you see the colour in here, and if you compare them to the back seats, like here, these look like brand new. You know, these are pretty much not satin. I mean, the bottoms look like they could need doing. Bit of colonisation. But these definitely need doing. Just to bring it up to that, you know, that next level really, and a better standard. It's just general use, and, you know, it's good to see a car like this, but it's nice to just refresh it every now and again. Go over to the workbench. And let me just show you the product I'm going to use. It's from a company in Birmingham called Technopaint, and it's a product called Colour Bond. There was one guy in Liverpool who had a tiny little business, and he was the only guy in the country at the time who were doing them. I think over the years he sold out, and then the next company sold out, but I've been using Colour Bond now for a good 15 years anyway. They seem to have the patent on the product, and it's really good. You get it in like 2 aerosols, and it comes with a cleaner, like a vinyl prep cleaner, which cleans any impurities or any polish out of the seats. It leaves them sticky so they're ready to take the aerosol, and you just do it in light coats. I mean, I'll show you in a bit, but for me this has been foolproof, and I've used this for years now, because there's other products you use and you get in your chinos and you get out and everyone's like, what's that on the back of your pants? This is like a really good product because you don't have any of that problem. So anyway, let's get stuck in. Let me clean these seats within an inch of the life, get it ready, and then I'll start applying all the vinyl coat, as I call it. Yeah, let's get cracking. Now personally, I like to use a little bit of panel wipe just to get into the creases before I prepare it with the vinyl prep before applying the paint. Always wear a mask and make sure the area where you're painting is well ventilated and nice and warm. And don't be too tempted to go too heavy at first. Just 3 nice, light, even coats. And here, you can already start to see the difference. It's already had some kind of polish applied in the past, as you can see. So with the front seats looking so good, I couldn't exactly leave the rears, could I? And just like when the paint is first applied before it dries, it will have a gloss finish. So a few hours later, when the balm or the leather feed is applied, this will also have a gloss effect. It will eventually dry matte. So, back seats are done and fed, and after they're eventually fitted, just do a light buff off with a microcloth, and voila. Now another job I wanted to tackle with the rear windows. I know I mentioned them at Malcolm's place, but because of lack of use, these tend to stick, or one will go up and won't go down, or vice versa. So I'm just going to strip the whole mechanisms out, clean the tracks, put them back together, and then just see how they operate. But there's a bit of work involved before these can be accessed. The rear seat has to be removed, as well as the rear panels. I've just taken the runner out of the window. I've cleaned all the hard grease out. All the grease had gone hard inside it. And the way it runs is, this runner goes inside. It's got a series of tiny ball bearings which fit in down each side. And it just rolls on them and a load of grease. And for some reason, I think it's because the grease has gone hard inside, it's managed the windows, managed to jump out of its runner. So I've just taken the whole thing off, cleaned it up with panel wipe, given it a good scrub. Got all the ball bearings in here as well, give them a good wash. I'll fill it with fresh grease,
fit the window back into its runner, tighten it all up, and then it should be okay. Hopefully that'll sort it out. Just years and years of not being used properly, and the grease eventually goes hard. But yeah, come up a treat. Weird design, by the way. There's the chain mechanism, and the runner on the window fits into the track and just goes up and down on its ball bearings like this.
That'll do. And the more use it gets, the smoother it'll become and the quicker it'll become. And with the engine running, it'll be even quicker. So, job well done.
So that's it for this episode, but tune in next time. When a car goes back together, I visit Roy Cameron of Cameron and Lunt, and finally the big payoff when I refit that brand new wood. And if you enjoyed this episode of Classic Obsession, don't forget to like and subscribe.